Today I wanted to talk about a CRPG called The Thaumaturge, which is a game that is being developed by Fool's Theory. If you don't know, if you haven't heard, Fool's Theory is the studio that is going to be remaking the original Witcher. Um, it is a studio that has veterans from CD Projekt Red, so this isn't a group of, you know, young up and comers. This is a group of veteran developers that have been doing games for a long time. Some of the heads of Fool's Theory have worked on The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 3. Um, so these are guys that know what they're doing when it comes to RPGs, which is really, really interesting. Maybe this will give us a little bit of a glimpse into what that remake is going to look like. But for now, let's keep the focus on the Thaumaturge. So it is a game that has a lot of choice. This is something that you're going to be definitely doing in classic CRPG style. So you kind of shape your own story as you're going through it, and you're going to be talking to people, making decisions. Some of those decisions can be, good. Some can be bad. Some are going to be in that gray area that we know CD Projekt Red devs really love to get into, and I really love to get into, so that's pretty cool for me. But yeah, so it's going to be a game about choice, decision making. It is a very deep game in terms of its lore, backstory, the world that it's in. It's in a really interesting setting. The setting is early 20th century Warsaw, and if you don't know where that is in Poland. So this is a very Slavic game. There are a lot of influences in that. It makes a lot of sense because these developers are from that area. So they know what they're talking about. The Thaumaturge is going to have these really interesting creatures called Salutors, which are kind of like demons. You can think of them like that if you'd like. They feed on the fears and the flaws of humans. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of Dragon Age, and it has that fade aspect to it as well. The Thaumaturges are these kind of wizardy types that can sense these demons, the Salutors, and nobody else can. So they're the only ones that can sense them, and they're the only ones that can deal with them when they start to do bad things. It is a world that is in a lot of political upheaval. The people in the world are trying to get freedom for their nations. It has a lot of themes like social justice, women's rights, a lot of really interesting themes that it dives into. There are even historical figures from that era, people like Rasputin. That's someone that you meet pretty early on. Salutors are kind of littered throughout this, and they're a big point that you'll be going through the game and seeing. And it's really cool, actually, the way that they kind of put these demon creatures into the game. Thaumaturges also have abilities that they can get from these Salutors because they can tame them. They can gain special powers, things like higher perception, influencing other people. The Thaumaturges also have the ability to see things that other people can't. And this is something that you can actually do as you're playing the game. You press a button and it makes this click sound, this very satisfying click sound, and you can see things light up. It's really an interesting way to do it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of The Witcher sense, which again makes sense. But kind of a unique take on that, where it leads you around to different quests and things like that, but it also can light up different items as you're going through and bring your attention to little bits of lore, little tidbits about the world, um, which is, makes this game a bit more of a slow burn. It's not going to be this very action-packed game where you're constantly fighting things, jumping from fight to fight. This is a bit more of a slow burn in the way of something like a Disco Elysium. The difference being that there is combat in the game. That combat is turn-based. It is not your real time with pause or something like that. It almost plays out a bit more like a JRPG. The combat system reminds me of Grandia, um, and that is always a good thing, to be honest. It has these gauges where each move that you take will take a certain amount of time. So if you have a very quick move, you can get off multiple attacks before the enemy even gets off one attack. And I'm pretty sure that is going to be there's going to be a lot of manipulation around that. It seems really cool. I really like that system. It's not again, it's not like this very quick, fast-paced action combat, but it is turn-based. It's a lot of fun to dig into. So the game kind of feels like they took the mage from Dragon Age and completely focused the game just on that aspect. You're going through the world, finding these creatures, these demons called Salutors, and you're interacting with them. Victor even speaks to his Salutor. The main character of the game is named Victor. I probably should have said that, but he talks to his Salutor as if it's an old friend. It's a really unique aspect of the game, and the humans with different flaws are what attracts the Salutors, and the Thaumaturges are trying to, find these Salutors, take care of them, tame them, and make them stop bugging the general populace. I've really always liked the idea of demons in games, things like Baldur's Gate, Dragon Age, all of these games, Shin Megami Tensei, demons and the things that they might do to really mess with your day and prey on humans and their underlying flaws and problems. And this is something that the Thaumaturge really explores in a really cool way. And exploring these creatures, it's like exploring the extremes of humanity, how far humans can fall and the forces that take advantage of us. In the real world, it's not supernatural beings that do that. So I think people who like games like Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment, Disco Elysium, maybe The Witcher, they'll feel right at home here. They'll find a game that is really enjoyable for them. Again, do not expect a very quick-paced, fast-paced game that's going to be pulling you from moment to moment. It's a bit more of a slow burn. You're going to want to be the kind of person that really enjoys digging into the lore, the backstory, the world that you're going through, and discovering a lot of interesting things about the people that live in that world. I did want to talk a little bit about the Thaumaturge's system for, I hesitate to call it leveling up. It's more like upgrading these 4 different aspects of your character. There is heart, mind, deed, and ward. These are different dimensions that you have. They all let you perceive different things in the world. So if you upgrade only heart, you won't be able to see certain things or interact with certain objects that are more rooted in mind, deed, or word. These upgrades can also affect combat. So if you are fighting, it has these little things here, skill upgrades like gamble, get 60% chance of dealing double damage, things like that. So it's kind of a cool system. It allows you to interact with the world in a different way, and it also allows you to upgrade your skills in kind of a unique way, I think. So it has this system where you're using this skill called perception, and you're finding different objects. And those objects, if you interact with them, they have the skill above them. Like this one has a word, and you aren't able to interact with that because you don't have, or in this case, I don't have the enough skill in that particular thing. This is just random object. Let's see if I can find another one. So here's this other one. This one is mind. My dimension force is too low, so mind is too low, so I can't interact with that. And then I have this one over here, which is deed. And I can't interact with that one either. So if I go into my Thaumaturge here and add a point to one of these, so let's just say I add 1 point to deed, then I can go up here, interact with this, and it gives me a bit more. So it has this separate section here, and it allows you to interact with the world a little bit more, which is pretty cool. It makes the choices that you make in terms of what skills you choose and what you develop within your Thaumaturge actually important. So you have to actually think about what you're doing instead of just spamming out, random ways to rank up your skills. It's in a very unique setting. I think that is something that is very cool about the Thaumaturge. This Slavic setting that you don't always get to see. A lot of the time you'll have your traditional, European setting, or a lot of JRPGs they'll have a Japanese setting. But this is a different setting that has a whole different aspect to it, and it's something that I remember really enjoying in the original Witcher games. It feels a lot different. It feels like something unique, and I think the Thaumaturge could be something really special. So that is the Thaumaturge. It's a very interesting, unique game. It has a lot of good developers behind it, so if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can check out the Thaumaturge now. It is now released, and you can play it. You can buy it right now. It is out for PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X. You can get it on Steam. I assume GOG as well. And try it out for yourself.